Hey, what is going on, guys? It is Young here, and today I'm back in a Fortnite video. And in today's video, I'm gonna give you guys some tips and tricks when it comes to fighting better players, fighting those tryhard players here in season 9. I'm gonna give you guys some tips and tricks to do so. And before we get into the video, I have a weekly V-Buck giveaway. I'm gonna be giving away V-Bucks every single Friday, and if you guys want a chance to win some free V-Bucks, all you guys need to do is to drop a like on this video. Make sure you guys subscribe to my channel and as well subscribe to my second channel. I post a ton of really good content on there, so make sure you guys do subscribe, turn on my post notifications, and as well leave a comment down below of your Xbox gamer tag, your PSN gamer tag, or Epic account. And if you guys would like to support me as a creator in the item shop, all you have to do is go over to the item shop, go into the bottom right hand corner, support a creator, and type in my code. My code is Young Humor. Type it in and you guys will have me supported as a creator. And alright guys, let's get to the video. Alright, so in this video, I'm going to give you guys some tips and tricks when it comes to fighting tryhard players. And when it comes to doing so, there's definitely a few ways that I go about it. And I want to give you guys kind of my step-by-step of analysis, exactly what I do every single time that I go in against a gunfight against a really tryhard player. So of course the first thing I'm going to do is just try to figure out what kind of player I'm going against, because a lot of players are good at different things. I see a lot of good builders, a lot of good players with aim. And when it comes to, for me, I play on PC with controller, so I see a lot of players I really can't even tell if they're on controller, if they're on keyboard and mouse. It's very hard to tell because I go against players all the time. So I just assume everyone's on keyboard and mouse, and a lot of those players have ridiculous aim. And trust me, they can just whip around, do a 180 really quick and still hit their shots. It's absolutely insane. But a lot of the tryhard players that I go against, whether I'm playing in a 1v1, whether I'm playing in a public match, maybe competitive Fortnite arena, whatever the case may be, there's a lot of things that tryhard players, they tend to do a lot of the same things over and over again. And to be honest with you guys, a lot of it can be very predictable. After a little bit, you guys will notice a lot of same things that a lot of players do, which doesn't mean that it's always going to be very easy to kill them. I'm just saying a lot of the times they do a lot of the same things that can easily be countered if you are ready for it, and just some different things that you can do to try to prepare for it. And just for a quick example, I would say 99% of the time, if you go for a cone play, or maybe you just block another player off, every single time they're going to be jumping around one of the sides. So they're either going to be jumping around the left side or they're going to be jumping around the right side. And a lot of times when you're going for this, you kind of just have to read exactly what direction they did. And in that clip right there, I knew after I placed the floor or cone over that player that they were going to jump either to the right or the left. And that time I ended up jumping to the left and worked out very good. But to be honest with you guys, more than likely players, when they jump to a side, they're going to be jumping to their left side. So if you're trying to counter, that's going to be your right side, so their left is going to be your right. And I would say 90% of players do so, because once you jump around that left side, it's very easy to peek over the right hand side, which is going to give you a right hand advantage. So more than likely, that's why people are going to be peeking over that side. They're going to be jumping on the left side when they're going to jump up rather than the right side, because if they're going right, they have to look left, and once they look left, it's going to be a little bit more difficult for them to try to get any shots off, because they have to peek even harder because they're not going to be on that right hand side. So like I said, people who jump around the sides like I'm doing right here, it's so much easier to jump around the left side, because once you do so, you're already going to be looking right after that jump, which is going to make it a lot easier to go for shots. So that's what I'd recommend doing if you are jumping around a side. It's a lot easier to jump off that left side because you're already going to be peeking over the right hand corner, and it's just going to make it a lot easier to hit shots. And that goes without saying. So after you place something over another player, I would say every single time they're either going to be jumping to the left or right. And as you can see in this clip right here, I was just placing the floor and the pyramid to the left or right of the builds. So unless they back up and then try to ramp out that way, which most people don't, they either jump to the left or right, you're already going to have your floor and your pyramid, which is going to make it a lot easier to trap the other player, because once you get the floor and the pyramid over another player, they really only have two things they can do. They can either challenge you right there in that fight, which most people don't. A lot of players that I'm going against, even the really good players, they're not typically going to be going for many shots in that situation, because it can be really a 50-50 gunfight. You're going to be shooting them and they're going to be shooting at you, and since you do have high ground, it's a lot easier to hit headshots, so a lot of people won't even challenge that fight at all. So if you get the floor and pyramid over the other player, a lot of people are going to be trying to move to another location, try to move out of that box, maybe try to jump around the side. So once you get that floor and pyramid off on the other player, it's going to make it so much easier to take complete control in that situation because you have a lot of options that you can do. So always try to recommend placing the floor and pyramid over them as much as possible because it gives you full control on exactly what you want to do. Either you want to go for a challenge, maybe you can use it to get high ground because once you block them off, it's going to buy you even more time to do whatever you want to do. And also this goes without saying when you're going against very good players, even when you're doing everything I told you guys about, predicting the other players, trying to see which way they want to go, floor and pyramid and everything like that. There's a few things that you want to keep in mind. Of course, when you're going against those better players, goes without saying, you have to do everything very quickly because the players you're going against are going to be very fast. And once they see that you have a floor and pyramid over them, or maybe you're trying to block them off, whatever you're trying to do, a lot of times they're going to see it right away, and it's going to be very easy for them to try to counter it or try to move to a different direction. So even when you go for a play, you have to be very quick about it, otherwise you're not going to be able to get it off. So that really just goes without saying, you have to be much quicker. So that's just something you have to work on, just trying to be even quicker than you normally are. So there's a few ways of going about it. It really just takes a lot of practice. Try to work on your editing, try to work on your building, maybe going for quicker shots. So there's a lot of things you can work on and a lot of different ways to go about it when it comes to getting faster and being quicker in this game. Because overall, once you do everything that I tell you guys about, and really when it comes to getting better, no matter what, you just have to be a lot faster at what you do because that ultimately really decides whether you're a really good player at this game or whether you're kind of an average or mediocre player. Just being as quick as possible when it comes to building, editing, going for shots and everything like that, because the quicker you are, the harder it is for other players that you're going against to try to get any shots on you no matter how good they are. And that's why sometimes even when I go against PC players that are extremely quick, there's not much that I can do just because a lot of their editing and their shots are just so quick that a lot of times I can't even compete. I just try to have to outsmart them in this situation. I can't really win off just gun skill and building and editing alone. So there is a lot of factors that go into it when it comes to outplaying the better players in this game. But I think no matter what, one of the best things that you can do in every single gunfight, no matter who you're going against, and when it comes to the better players, I think this is the most important thing that you can do, and that's always going to be getting the first shot on the other player. And that could really be anything from like 20 damage to 40 damage, 50 damage plus. It really doesn't even matter. Just getting that first shot on the other player is going to ultimately give you a huge advantage in that fight. And I've had a ton of gunfights that I've gone into where I've actually had high ground, but I've lost a good 100 HP, 120 HP going for high ground. That really wasn't even worth it. So even though I might have had high ground, I was so low on HP, even if I had like 50 or 60 HP, it really wasn't worth having the height. The other player still had the advantage. So of course high ground isn't everything in this game. And I think especially in public matches that you're going into, I think having more HP is going to be a lot better than having high ground, and just for a lot of reasons, because like I said, getting that first shot on the other player is going to make a huge difference and really going to be the ultimate decider in who's going to win that gunfight, because trust me, I'd rather have more HP than have high ground, even if it's an extra like 60 or 70 HP. And now with the combat shotgun being in the game and just the amount of range that it has, I think it's super easy to get that first shot off because this gun has a ton of range. I mean, you can still hit from like 30-40 damage from like a good 40 meters out. So getting that first shot off is even easier now than it was in the previous seasons. Just like right here, I got the easy tag on the guy with the combat shotgun because it does so much damage from range. I didn't see exactly how much I hit him for, but I know I hit him for a good amount of damage. So the combat shotgun is going to be a huge essential, just hitting a lot of shots a lot easier. Because as I'm running up, even if the guy was, a good 4 to 5, stories over or structures over, it's going to be very easy to get a 30 or 40 damage shot on them using the combat shotgun. In the early game, it might be a little bit more difficult because finding it early on can be a little bit harder, because I did think they nerfed the drop rate of it just a little bit, so tacks are ultimately a ton easier to find. But I mean, you can, in the late game or even mid game, you can find combat shotguns pretty much everywhere. So getting that first shot off on the other player is even now easier than ever. And you don't even have to use a shotgun. Of course, you can use an assault rifle. I wouldn't really recommend SMGs. I talked about it in a video I did just about 2 days ago. SMGs in this game just really aren't as strong. You might as well just use an AR and a combat shotgun. And the third weapon, of course, I'm going to be using probably a heavy sniper if I can find it. But SMGs and guns like that really aren't as strong anymore, so assault rifle or combat are going to be your go-to weapons. And those two weapons, either way, is going to be some of the easiest weapons to get shot off with, because when you're going into gunfights, more than likely, you're going to be starting off at kind of a mid-range situation. You're not going to be point blank to the other player most of the time unless it's to start off the game. So a lot of times going into the fight, you're at least going to be mid-range to long range before you even start fighting the player. So an assault rifle or combat shotgun is going to be your go-to weapon either way when it comes to getting that first shot off on the other player. And with that being said, that's wrap it up for this video. Hope you guys enjoyed this video. Hope you guys liked it. And if you guys could, make sure you guys drop a like on the video, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, turn on my notifications so you're notified for every single new video. And alright guys, I'll see you next video.